They are coming. Go, torch it. Burn it all.
But what about the serum?
Leave nothing. Now I will show you how I deal with informants. Finish him.
With pleasure.
These are the coordinates Ellis sent.
Over there.
It's Ellis. Executed. Leon, you find anything?
The place is torched. I don't know what they were growing, but it wasn't narcotics.
Romer knew we were coming.
So what's our next move?
We watch for the next viral outbreak. We won't have to wait long.
Logan's report was clear enough.
I want 2 additional teams assigned to this. Find Romer.
I understand.
Logan is my best agent. What do you want to do?
Nothing. We will wait. We will wait and see what he can discover.
Our WHO contact was correct. Everyone within 100 miles is dead.
Not everyone. This man is still alive.
How is that possible?
It's not.
Alright, one more quick little loop so I can just check my microphone levels and all, and I'm just going to run the 2 museum stages. I might touch on the ones after that, or I might go back to some else, but I'm not going to focus on it too long. And then, of course, later tonight, the Omega Strain. So let me just listen back to this real quick, and I'll start the mission. Okay, I should just have a restore point already. That's good enough. I'll just go back to the mission I was on.
Security has been breached. Roma has ordered the...
And yeah, this is one of my restore points because the catacombs. You're going to want to practice that. But we won't do that any sooner than we have to. We'll touch on that in a couple of days. Right now, we did the first stage group yesterday. We'll do the 2 expo stages right now. So give me just a second to crack my knuckles and all. There's an easier strat than the one you'll see me do. It involves just climbing up the left-hand side real quick, and then waiting out the walk cycle and double headshotting them. But honestly, the double headshot is a lot more... aside from being time-consuming, it's also a lot harder to land. So you'll do it this way, and you'll see me palette swapping.
We've analyzed blood taken from Romer's men.
It's necessary for some things, the way that I do them, especially the Benton headshot.
Right.
Yeah, so instead, just... Oh. Yeah, it's okay. Just a rough start.
We've analyzed blood taken from Romer's men. It contains...
Biggins heading for the...
Right.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty bad. Which, by the way, this mistake right here, that mistake you just saw me make, that mistake accounts for basically the entire 10-second difference between first and second place for the speedrun. If you watch second place's speedrun, they mess up right there. And then they wait out the black screen and everything. They don't even reset. But it accounts for about 10 seconds, which is effectively the entire difference in the 2 speedruns, so... And yeah, you want to do the palette swap roll before the loading zone, because then you'll load into the next zone rolling, and you don't want that. You want to be standing so you can run straight.
Biggins run for it. Romer and Airmob went after him.
He's finished. Right.
Pretty simple stuff here. That was a little early. I don't want to waste that ammo. One, two, three, four, five. The headshot's not too hard once you understand like his running patterns. He'll run like one of 2 paths, and you can tell by where he starts running which path he's gonna run. So I knew there he was going to tuck into the corner where it was gated. And this is dangerous, but fuck it. And I find that it's easier to do the auto aim on the switch if your pallet's swapped with the G18. One-handed, the aim doesn't seem to be as good. That way you don't have to stop to aim at the switch. What the fuck? I don't know how he reloaded while he was on the elevator. If it read the triangle input, it should have read it as an interact, but... Fucking Syphonfilter. Ooh, that was a bad roll. All the momentum went downward instead of horizontal. Pretty easy. The main problem area is with those two dudes up on the bridge, I would say. And then, you know, following Fagin, immediately followed by Benton.
The entrance to the dino...
Check.
Not really necessary to kill those dudes either, but I like having the flak jacket. Fucking Gabe.
There goes Fagin. Is Mara still alive?
Hell yeah.
Yes. Now to get some answers.
Hurry. More security is on its way.
And there's Fagin tweaking. It seems to work better with a two-handed taser. That might be the issue, is that I just haven't been getting here fast or orderly enough. And then it's faster to kill Fagin than it is Mara, because you can just...
Gabe, we needed Fagin alive.
May as well keep rolling the ball.
I've discovered why every mission in this investigation has been compromised.
An effectively pretty short segment by itself. And then we'll give this one another go. I don't think I ever tried this one before, but... So my way to do it is to switch to a two-handed and pallet swap it into the C4. That way I can just hold square rolling into these tankers. And I fucked up already. I'll get more into this one tomorrow, but I'll run it a little bit more just to show you the difference. So here's the current strat. Let me rest my hands like 20-30 seconds. Yeah, but this stage has optional stealth. If you get caught, it goes on alert status, and it's much harder to play through the level, but the current strat that you'll see most people do is they'll ignore the stealth aspect, and they'll run the path that you were seeing me try to run, just straight up with the alarms blaring. Upon tagging the second tanker, making it over the area with the stairs, people usually hit a right, interact skip to get the combat shotgun for a segment coming on later with like the final tanker. And then, you know, they just run the route of the stage just as it is. The way that I do it that differs is I run the exact same route, but I do it with the continuous rolling, which is a way of like fast sneaking. It's sneaking by way of frame perfect consecutive rolls, so that way I can avoid detection while still moving at the speed of like a full sprint. The point being is to avoid the restart at the checkpoint. The AI is so aggressive, especially mobbing around this one NPC that you're supposed to headshot for an objective and get a card key off of them. So the usual strat is on like the second to final tanker right before this guy spawns that you're supposed to headshot, or you're supposed to kill. You'll see people hit the checkpoint and restart at the checkpoint to despawn all the non-essential NPCs, leaving just him for the easy headshot, and then they'll go about the stage like that. My way gets there in about just the same amount of time. Maybe like, if anything, it's maybe like a quarter second or a half a second slower just because of, well, I was gonna say just because of like the slight detouring you have to take in the very, very opening path, but considering all the time that it takes away from you having to get the combat shotgun and whatnot, because I don't do that either, because that would also ruin the stealth aspect. It makes up for it. So I'll show you that way right now real quick.
This investigation has been compromised. Right.
So the way anybody else would do it otherwise.
Damn it! I planted the first explosive.
Yeah, get the combat shotgun. And it's not impossible for Gabrick to spawn by himself, but it's very inconsistent. You'd want to peek off the side to see if he is at first, and he's not, so. Restart at last checkpoint, so literally just right there. Then you'd come over here, switch to your, or pallet swap from your card key to this. Throw a grenade in that little cubby.
I found the power
and then switch to the combat shotgun you picked up, and boom, boom.
That's the last explosive. I'll trigger the timer once I'm on the roof and have disabled their radar.
Because these guys in particular can be real problematic. But that's not the way I do it. So the path is going to be the same, but the main thing is that I sneak over there so that Gabrick just spawns walking, which it's not impossible. If you watch second place's speedrun, he speeds through it with the alarm full blaring, and Gabrick still just happens to pop up. The way he reacts, it seems like he wasn't really planning on it, but he also didn't seem surprised by the fact that Gabrick was there. I've seen it happen to me too. It can happen. But as for controlling that If you could figure out the exact particularities behind making Gabrick spawn by himself, walking his normal path, even on red alert, that would probably redefine the optimal path even more, because that would circumvent my need for sneaking. The way that I do it is negligibly slower, faster if you consider the fact that you don't need the combat shotgun if you know, put a little more faith in your headshots and whatnot. And, it could still be seen as faster, but if I could guarantee that Gabrick would always spawn that way, it would be even that much faster to always do it that way, to circumvent it and just go back to running it in red alert. But I don't know. I've tried a few times to run slightly different paths, right? Maybe if I hug the wall here, maybe if I don't turn the corner here, maybe if I do this first, or don't get red alert until this or until that. And nothing I seemed to flip-flop, nothing I could think of seemed to affect anything.
I've discovered why every mission in this investigation has been compromised.
So the way I would do it then, it's the same path, but look at it's mainly different here at the beginning. Obviously my palette swap, like I always talk about, you gotta roll past this dude because he'll hear you. And you kinda gotta sneak to the wall right here, but then that's it. You can sneak behind this guy.
I've planted the first explosive.
It's not impossible for the guy at the bottom to have a delayed reaction too, so you always want to speed through that part where you headshot the dude on top. So see, we're still sneaking, so you don't want to fire off your PK-102 to interact skip that trunk. And there's also an NPC right on the opposite end of this railway who will hear you if you don't do your perfect roll. Same thing with the guys behind these tankers. They should be able to see you, but as long as you don't see them first, they don't spawn. And as long as they can't hear you... Ooh, we're good though. And there's Gabrick strolling about.
Damn it.
And at that point, the alarm doesn't matter. It's better to have the alarm go off right there anyway. Because if it doesn't, a dude will spawn in between that doorway and on the other side of the fence. As opposed to them despawning and then these other guys taking a minute to spawn off the roof. And then the same thing. But check this one out. Instead of going for the combat shotgun, go for another fake grenade.
Heading over to the bunkers now. That's the last explosive. I'll trigger the timer once I'm on the roof and have disabled their radar.
Copy.
It's normally much better than that too, but I'm out of practice. But you see the difference though. Normally the one grenade is enough. Even if it doesn't kill the two, a passing headshot usually gets them running into the same place. But you'll see me get better at that. But that is the point. It circumvents the need to restart at the checkpoint, just to get the easy Gabrick headshot. But theoretically, there is still that faster way of just having Gabrick spawn while you are on red alert. But, hey, if you can figure that out, good for you. And then this is the one with all the interact skips.
Leon.
You typically want to come with more ammo, and I usually do, but again, you'll see me get better at it.
Gabe, check your fire. Damaging that missile could set it off.
You don't have to worry about interact skipping these because they're on a timer anyway. It's just the last one. You gotta remember to shoot that switch as soon as the gate opens, though. It's easy to be overly concerned with the guys, you know, immediately ready to shoot you, but you gotta hit that switch. Same thing with here, too. After you hit this switch, you gotta open the door and then go hit the other switch. Oh, fuck. He spawned behind me. I hate that. Because you're gonna come out that other side, so hit that other switch.
I've got the last code.
Oh.
I'm gonna try to find a way up to the radar tower on the roof. Get ready to lift off.
I'm ready.
And then switch back for the interact skip, and then you're gonna reload on the roof anyway.
Leon, I found the elevator to the roof. Get ready to dust off.
And then we'll see if we can get the one cycle. If you saw me do it on the 7th place submission, it should be way better than that anyway. So just run straight, interact skip both trunks, turn around, shoot, reload, pause, unpause, and then start unloading on the chopper immediately. And if you get, it won't kill you, even if it shoots you continuously.
Right.
You just gotta get used to the flow of it. And yeah, I reloaded before, that way the reload animation gets skipped along with everything else. And then boom, there's the chopper. And when you're reloading, crouch to skip the animation. Immediately come tuck behind this way. Start hitting the rotors. Oh yeah, that's one cycle. That was one cycle as hell. Now we'll see if I can get this one. And this is another stage where you can hold circle after the briefing. Look at this. Damn. Ooh, I've never quite done that before. I rolled like directly into it. I didn't even have to roll onto the ground and then under it. Oh. Almost fell into the void. Yeah, see, this one's hard. I don't even know the standard way to do it. I just know my way. I know just how to plop up there and drop. Everybody else uses some kind of visual cue, but I'm not sure what it is they're looking at. I know they I know they do this. They target lock that dude as soon as they climb up, and that turns them around where they need to be looking, but that was different. The thing about this one, if you can get it down the way that I do it, even if you fuck it up, it shouldn't kill you. I guess it depends on where you fuck it up. Damn. But even if you do fuck it up a couple of times, it's still way faster than, you know, running the stage normally. Even if you like die completely, you could probably afford to die like twice before it would actually be slower than the other way anyway. That wasn't as good as I like to do it normally, but Yeah, you can't have too low of health because you got to be able to kill those dudes. I'm not getting the range I usually get. I must be fucking up my inputs. There we go. Maybe. It's one of those things too where the trick is not to overcorrect. Right, because like once you get it, you've got it. But, you know, you're rolling through fire and sometimes it feels like you're staying in there a while, so it's hard not to want to overcorrect, but that's usually what kills you. Is the slight over-angling to the left or to the right or something. There we go. Wasn't exactly right. It was the wrong type of roll, but... Man... Those over-the-shoulder shots usually work pretty good for me, but... Anyway, we'll touch back on these stages again tomorrow. I wasn't even really going to touch on them today, but I figured I had a pretty good run going. Oh. Up until this. But this is just a problem area. With some refinement, with some practice, it's never too bad. Or there are worse parts, at least. The endgame in general is way worse. It just doesn't have anything so specifically trying. Why am I taking so much damage? I don't know what part of it I'm fucking up, because I normally do it with only like half a health bar. There we go, now we should be alright. And yeah, the same way you saw me pallet swap the sniper rifle into the C4, you'll see me do that a lot. And I don't know what does that either. Normally there's a little cutscene that plays right there with the helicopter blowing up. But that's why I always loop around the corner and around the back of the stage like that. Because it seems to correlate, but I don't know what triggers it. Sometimes it skips that cutscene completely, which saves like a whole ass second and a half.
My God. Syphonfilter.
But I have no idea at all what does it.
One more thing.
But yeah, basically, whenever you're holding an item like this, the square input just acts as a triangle input, but only while you're in proximity within the proximity of the thing it's meant to interact with. So the second I come into contact with a Syphonfilter patient, it's as if I was rapidly mashing the triangle button. Which comes into play with this first objective. Because, Markinson calls you as soon as you go into, hit these two patients with the vaccine. So if you hold square, the second you touch the patient, you'll answer Markinson's phone call, and you'll be close enough to, vaccinate him. Damn it. So yeah, just hold square, and look, as soon as I touch him.
I found the first group. Right.
And it's always so hard to get it out of the call, though. You might find trouble hearing all that, but we'll touch on these stages in particular as the week goes on. I'll probably touch on them a little tomorrow after I finish up with those stages like I did with the bunkers today. But what's going to happen is I'm more than likely going to separate...
Damn it!
The catacombs, because... Oh, Jesus Christ. The catacombs are just horrible. Which, if you don't know why, it's this.
Security has been breached. Roma
Everything you just saw me doing, for as long as you saw me doing it up to this point, just to have to immediately hard shift it into this. And it's not like Fagin in the museum where you can just get ahead of him. You know what I'm saying? Turn the other corridor and then just beat him to his loading zone and force the boss fight. This segment doesn't end until this dude makes it to the goal and unlocks the door. So he has to get there. It's not about you, the player. Or that's not what it's associated with, so. And I've tried some jank. I've tried my running backwards, running blind nonsense to see if I can't just brute force myself ahead of him. It worked all right, it seemed, for a little bit, but there's a certain vantage point where he just will see you eventually. And there's no place to get out of his line of sight far away enough from him that he won't always see you. If there was like a necessary corridor, you know, early enough down that way, that might be something. But it's not. Of course, you're going to come over here with all sorts of, you know, ammunition and stuff from the previous stage, but... Oh, well, this is a restore point, so I did. And they will see the body, so go far away enough to despawn it. So I always just touch the gate and then loop back this way. And then this isn't even the worst part. This middle part with Fagin is the worst part.
Please.
So immediately throw a gas grenade.
Follow me. This way.
How you like that? The only way to do this part of the catacombs is to just know. You have to know every corner. You have to know that, oh, it's these dudes spawning down the hallway. It's this guy with the flak jacket fucking peeking his head out. You gotta know to let Fagin get a little bit ahead of you and not face down the corridor. This one's kind of tricky. Ooh, I think I fucked up already. He's too far away. No, it worked.
No, this way.
See how that shit was almost vertical off the stairs? It's all about momentum stacking, I'm telling you. If you get too far, he starts sneaking around. If you touch him, he stops completely. Bro just ate a shotgun blast to the face.
No, this way.
He will sneak through this way regardless. You gotta sneak through it too. This actually isn't too bad. Ooh, yeah, see, he kind of grazed my shoulder there, so he's just like, no. No. Don't touch me. Oh.
That's her cell. You're on your own now.
I am genuinely surprised by how unbelievably well that went. Actually, I was gonna say far from perfect, but actually that was not too far from perfect. That was actually pretty close to how you want it to be. Some of that could have been a little bit better had I expected myself to do so well. Right, for example, going down that first segment after the first checkpoint, you know, where you hop off the stairs. I could have done that a little bit faster, but that was actually fantastic. I feel like that's a good sign for things to come. And the reason why you saw me shoot Leon is to put her in this, you know, endangered panic state. Because if she's at full health, she stands there and she shoots. Whereas if she's bloodied up a little bit, she just fucks off. She runs full haul. Leon's part is a lot easier because, I mean, look at her.
Got him.
You gotta know her path though, so that way you don't fall behind. And she also likes to hit little jukes like that. She'll hit a couple of really hard ones later too. Like a whole ass turn to the right, just a hard swing, figure eight, and then turn to the left. This is where we came out with Fagin earlier. That's the segment where we just went downstairs. If you pay attention, this whole stage is just like a two-story spiral, just branching off at different places. I want to map it out because it's a cool-ass stage design, but they don't actually provide a map for it. And yeah, see, you don't want to get in her way like I almost did, but you know, this circular rolling technique is good for that too. Because it lets you keep some movement and some proximity without getting in the way. You can kind of like serpentine around her. And then once you see these stairs upright, you're good. It's another corridor down straight. And then another stairway up to the left, and then you're back at the starting part of the stage.
There's someone up ahead.
Damn, I was trying to kill her like Mara.
Please.
Mara. But yeah, everything from the Stronghold on makes up about the second half of the speed run. And these final 6 stages itself are about 25% of it. Honestly, closer to like 30.
Warehouse 76 has an elevator that goes down to them. Once in the silo, you'll need
Warehouse 76 is probably the shortest and easiest of them, but it also has 3 fire skips packed in there for the optimal route. So there are 5 fire skips in the whole game. Stage 2, in order to bypass the radio call and those first enemies that you have to battle.
How many carrier bodies are there?
I'm not sure.
Or those first enemies that you have to get out of the way.
Won't have time to search them all.
You just skip to the right, but you have to cross the fire and it'll take like half your health bar.
Erickson probably has it.
Leon?
And then, of course, the fire skip you saw me do
You'd better be telling the
under
truth.
the chopper.
Watch her closely.
And then the last 3 are all in Warehouse 76. They're all in one stage. And yeah, we're definitely not going to do this. I'm surprised I did the whole catacombs thing, but we didn't play through the Stronghold. But tomorrow, though, we'll play through the bunkers properly. I'll go a little more in-depth to them, and there's just a lot that can go wrong with this stage 2, even starting with these guys. The fact that they spawned with combat shotguns, and not one of them spawned with a PK-102, is already bad for the strategies, because that means I can't interact skip yet. But normally you just want to blast through, go and talk to this dude, do all that stuff. But at this point, the NPCs are, you know, stronger than ever. They're more deadly than anywhere else in the game. So it makes for easily the most stressful part of the speedrun as a whole. As far as anything specific that makes them challenging, though, I would say it's just the difficulty. It's not like any of the other segments where there's a specific trick that needs to be implemented, or even with like the first segment with all the bombs, you know, in the park, or the first objective of the game even. Or of the speedrun, defusing that first bomb in the bank. Those aren't as simple as they seem. It's not just, if you want like the optimal path, there's an optimal way to do it. You can't just run in there and then just wait for a checkpoint and leave. You gotta force the checkpoint early by, you know what I'm saying, hitting certain loading zones, killing the right people, and that's the logic for all the bomb spawns. There's not anything like that, thankfully, later in the game. No skips, no necessary glitches that I can think of. But it's just, you know what I mean? There's just these crazy high-level NPCs running all over the place, and they're all wearing flak jackets, of course. So it's easily the part I'm looking forward to least, but we'll keep doing this daily practice thing for the first couple of weeks. Well, we'll probably do the daily practice the entire time. And then, you know, once Omega Strain is done in a couple of weeks, because it should only take like 5 or 6 streams itself, so the last couple of weeks worth of like longer streaming sessions, I should be able to do the whole speedrun for like, you know, 3 or 4 hours. I didn't really have the patience for it as much last time, especially because I just started streaming, but you know, now I could tolerate putting in a good couple of attempts, but my usual time is like an hour and a half. I haven't been able to even get close to my personal best time. I haven't even been able to get within 5 minutes. My second best time is like an hour 29 or something like that. And then I think there's only like one place ahead of me that is like past the minute 10 point, past the 70-minute mark. Everybody else is under the 70-minute mark. And then of course first place and second place are under the 60-minute mark. They're both at 59, you know, 50 something. One's like at 59 40 something, the other one's at 59 50 something. Which, like I said earlier, it was like a 10-second mistake.
Leon, I'm on my way to the park.
Just in that Museum Expo level.
I left her wounded and
they fucked up the way that I did. They fucked up the headshot and failed the objective.
And if he hasn't alerted FEMA, he better do it soon. Romer is gonna
and they didn't even bother to like pause and restart a checkpoint real quick. They let the whole scene play out, fade to black and fade back in. Literally about like 10 point something seconds. Just about the whole difference between the speed runs.
This is Benton. I have a mission redirect.
Which makes me wonder why this new guy, why second place never overtook first place.
What's going on?
Because first place is only slightly better, like I said, and even then, a lot of it is largely implementing optimizations that second place didn't. If second place were to adapt some of those optimized strategies, and then also not make a mistake, he could overtake first place easily by like another 10 or 20 seconds, I bet. Maybe it's just not worth, you know, the trouble of playing this game. Because, I mean, speedrunning is stressful. But that's also kind of part of the reason why I don't want to disclose too many of even the minor tricks that I've developed myself for the speedrun, because it's the same thing. I could probably make up like a good 20 or 30 second difference myself with those too, but if that's the only thing that I have up on these other guys, well, once that information is out there, it's out there. And so, you know what I mean? They'd be just as able as I am to whip out these strats that I developed. The only reason I'm so open about the stuff with that base stage is because I already dropped a whole ass short about it a year ago. I talked about it a lot during the speedrun. And it was just a minor thing, but I mean, as long as it's something nobody else is doing or knows how to do. Because it doesn't seem any different on the surface level, but if you look at the rolls, you can notice the difference. This is me just mashing circle. You can really notice the hard reset in Gabe's model, where he goes from leaning forward in the running animation to leaning back in the standing pre-roll animation. Whereas if I do my little skip, you should never see him coming back up to the forward motion. You should see him going down from the roll straight up to, you know, the lean back head position for the roll. And if you do see like the frame in between, that means I fucked it up. It's very subtle, but it's a difference. It is technically faster by like a frame, which over the long run will make a difference as often as you need to roll, at least. But it also changes the dynamics for movement and stealth and everything. It's why I'm able to run the base stage the way that I showed you. I did a kind of funky roll there. I got like a lot of momentum somehow, but I can't get it to work now. But yeah, look at the momentum and all that too. Momentum is a whole ass other thing. The only reason I haven't gotten more into momentum is because the more I got into the dynamics at play, the more I realized that, like, holy shit, this is ridiculous, this is stupid. I mean, just look at that. Look at the distance that I can get on a roll. You're not supposed to be able to roll like that. See, that's more normal. Me fucking it up right there, that was more of a normal roll. They want you to kind of fall down slow. They don't want you to be able to get any kind of verticality. Which that played a role in that stronghold stage right at the beginning too. Because, you know, I talked about like the rolling dynamics yesterday a little bit. How it changes momentum and things like that.
One more.
Right.
Wow. So I always just go over there with a two-handed roll, you know.
One more.
Check.
But again, that's the other guys don't do that. Because normally you wouldn't have the speed and momentum with a two-handed roll to clear that gap. I knew he was going to do that. Just die.
One more.
So yeah, here's the way the other guys would normally do it. They'd go for the one-handed roll. They'd stop. And then get a roll like that. Because if you just try to go for the normal two-handed roll the same way...
One more.
Right.
Well, I guess that works. There's some landing lag, though. You don't get to bypass the lag in the same way. Or maybe I just got too good at rolling that way that I can't fuck it up anymore. But most of the time, you will just fall. It's why I developed a very specific way to roll across it anyway, because you couldn't just roll across it normally. And especially with a one-handed if you're just rolling. Yeah, see, I don't know how I didn't die before. Because even that land killed me, but...
One more.
Check.
So you see, it's a little weird, but... Anyway, I can get more into that tomorrow, and then the stronghold the next day.
One more thing. You are directed to
I'll probably
eliminate any
do
of Romer's medical
the first two
personnel that get in
strongholds the
way.
day after tomorrow,
Copy.
after the base,
I'll
right?
let you know when I found my way down to the ground level.
So what's today? Friday? So Saturday, I'll do the base levels. Sunday will be these levels, this one and the next one, and then Monday, I'll probably do the catacombs in isolation. Similarly, I'll split the last 6 stages into a couple of groups too. I'll do everything up to Warehouse 76 as one stage, right? The 2 warehouses and then the burning warehouse. And then I'll do the underground, the blackout, and the silo as its own group. Just to not do too much and give myself the opportunity to slow down and redo some things on them. And then after that, I might start, you know, running larger chunks just as practice instead of isolating the whole thing. I might just speed run up to this point or just do like untimed dummy runs. It just depends on what I have the time for on the given day. But anyway, Omega Strain later, and